guys? I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I am here today to talk a little bit about the Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics, Tom Brevoort. First, I want to let you guys know. If you guys do not know who Tom Brevoort is, very powerful person at Marvel. Probably been like one of the longest standing editors slash employees at the company. He's never really made it to editor in chief or anything like that. For people that work for Tom, especially in editorial or a writer, you'll know that he was kind of a bit of a strict with the continuity. Whatever happened in this issue of this Rocket Raccoon or something else, something very obscure that fans don't even remember, had to be cross referenced by him to make sure it fit in part with everything Marvel Comics has done. Now, Marvel Comics, unlike DC Comics, rarely does reboots. Actually, I'm not sure if they've ever actually had a full reboot. I think the Moira McTaggart thing was the closest thing to a reboot, and that was only really affecting X-Men in a weird way. So, what's interesting on this article is, I guess in the Substack thing, basically Marvel official timeline of its canon comic universe is maybe not as important to fans as might think, says top editor Marvel Tom Brevoort. All right, so there's a couple of things happening here. First off, he's basically, saying don't think about how old the X-Men are, because every time the original X-Men, like how old are they, right? You only have like a million new mutants popping up, 7 generations of X-Men. So how old is Cyclops and Jean Grey and, Beast and stuff like that? And this is the same dilemma that basically DC Comics has with Robin and Batman. Every time they kill a Robin, it's like, well, these things are stacking up. These Cape Crusaders are stacking up, Batman, these sidekicks. But it's always making him basically Bruce Wayne a little bit older. Same could be said with the X-Men. Every time they come across new mutants over years, it's like, well, really, how old is the first generation of mutants? And again, somebody brings up the idea of Magneto having origin story around the time of World War II. There's a bit of an issue there. Like, he's the oldest mutant by a lot. So how is he getting older and nobody is? So this is something that comics, you kind of want to avoid. You kind of want to avoid real world events whenever you can, building a comic universe, because they kind of become like a staple in time. And if you add another world event, well, in whatever section of time those two world events are, say like 9/11 did happen in the Marvel comics, as it did in real life, and so did World War II. It's like you kind of you see right there, it's like, how old is Magneto again? And this becomes very problematic to a more corporate company when it's a super merchandisable character, something that they care a lot about, especially for video games, movies, all that stuff. And then you got the nightmare of the movie universe coming in. Movie universe comes in, you got fresh new actors, very young guys. Maybe you now have to move around that, because what if these movies actually bring in new audience, which they don't? But let's pretend they do. Like, you kind of want your table set with your comic book universe. And Tom, the guy that used to be very much kind of a Yahtzee about this with everybody and very strict, is basically sitting down here and just saying, just don't think about it. Just have fun reading comics. Continuity doesn't matter. This strikes me as super odd, mainly because that was Tom's big thing. That was kind of like his big claim to fame at Marvel and why everybody hates working with him or around him. And now all of a sudden it doesn't matter. Like, Bobby Drake can be gay. Didn't matter if he was, chasing girls for years in comics. Jean Grey just says he's gay. Black Cat can be a lesbian. Doesn't matter if she was a heterosexual female before. Now she's a lesbian. See, this continuity thing, I don't know. You need continuity. But I also feel like every now and then, if you're going to try to run characters past a reasonable expiration date, meaning like, Peter Parker, Spider-Man still going to go on forever, they kind of have to be trapped in time. But there's weird things in technology, right? Let me use Superman for an instance, right? Superman used to run into a phone booth to change into Superman. Well, there's no phone booths anymore. How's that work, right? Doesn't. You have to kind of update the character with technology. And any character based with any type of technology environment or anything canon to the character, again, like the phone booth, You might need to update them in a way to get science right or whatever fashion is going on, whether it be technology or clothing. Like again, somebody here points out, well, what about Dazzler, right? Where was Disco at in the Marvel universe? Why is Dazzler a disco character? Stuff like that. And Dazzler, as obscure as that character kind of is to most, there's always rumblings that she could be Taylor Swift or something like that. It's still like important to the company to hold that disco character in place. And it's just so weird. And in a way, I'm not even sure if Marvel does need a reboot. I mean, there's nothing that's quite getting my interest right now at Marvel Comics. There is no money, there is no talent for a full line wide reboot. But I don't know. Maybe Marvel does need to do what DC did with Crisis and just do a line wide reboot and kind of update the characters and get them, put in time where they want. But again, like a character like Magneto, you're probably going to want to still have him with ties to World War II. So eventually, over a long enough period of time, Magneto is going to be like eventually one day 100 and some years old. What do you want a character stapled to a world event like that? I don't know. I don't know. It's just something to think about if you're out here making independent comics. We're trying to build a new comic book universe. This is something that corporate comics actually has a hard time with. I'm not so sure if like what Tom's position is if somebody's telling him quit with the continuity, Tom. Like these characters need to be evergreen, every day. If you guys will, please check out 9livescomics.com. Extend Level Up will be coming down this week. We are at $122,311. Get over here, get your copy of Extend or Extend Respawn, and check this out. And while you're at it, if you go to 9livescomics.com, you can sign up for Inglorious Rex 3 coming at you from 9 Lives Comics later this year. We will be launching this bad beast before you know it. So please make sure you're signed up. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, and we'll catch you guys again with another video.
I dream of a world carefully crafted, beautifully flawed. This is Axcend. In this game of life, there is one thing that determines a victor. A player's ability to grow. A player's ability to evolve. A player's ability to survive. My name is Dog. Choose to play. Choose to upgrade. Choose to level up. Choose to Axcend.